The FBI's 10 Most Wanted list has been key to capturing the nation's most dangerous criminals. Created in 1949, after a reporter published a list of the FBI's toughest fugitives, it highlights individuals who pose serious threats to society. Public tips have since helped bring nearly 500 fugitives to justice, making the list an enduring tool in law enforcement. These are the updated names as at the time of making this video. Omar Alexander Cardenas. On August 15, 2019, surveillance cameras captured a man entering a shopping mall area and later running away from the same location. The man was involved in a fatal shooting moments after leaving the camera's view. He approached an individual standing outside a barber shop named Hair Icon and fired multiple gunshots to the victim's head, killing him instantly. He fled the scene shortly after, as seen documented by the unsettling footage. Authorities identified the man as Omar Alexander Cardenas, a known member of the Pier Street gang in Los Angeles and often referred to as Omar. They suspect he fled to Mexico, possibly hiding with relatives. By September 2021, a federal warrant was issued for his arrest on charges of murder and fleeing prosecution, landing him on the FBI's Most Wanted list with a reward of up to $250,000 for information leading to his arrest. Despite the crime occurring in plain sight and his actions being caught on video, investigators have limited information to track him. Omar is described as approximately 300 pounds, wearing thick prescription glasses, having at least one tattoo, and being considered heavily armed and dangerous. However, these details provide little assistance in locating a fugitive who likely crossed international borders, but investigators are hopeful that future leads will eventually result in his capture. YULAN ADONAY ARCHAGA CARIAS. YULAN ADONAY ARCHAGA CARIAS, also known by his alias Porky, is the leader of Mara Salvatrucha activities in Honduras. Mara Salvatrucha, commonly known as MS-13, was formed in Los Angeles to protect Salvadoran immigrants from rival gangs. However, MS-13 became one of the world's most violent and notorious criminal organizations. They commit heinous crimes such as human trafficking, extortion, and murder, and operate in countries like El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, the United States, Canada, and even Spain. YULAN provided the gang with firearms, narcotics, and significant financial resources to support their operations across Central America and the United States. The FBI has charged him with various crimes, including trafficking massive quantities of drugs, multiple murders, racketeering, conspiracy, and illegal possession of machine guns. Despite his relatively small stature at 160 pounds, YULAN wields immense power, with MS-13 holding a near-unbreakable grip on Honduras. One of the most shocking incidents involving YULAN occurred when he was detained by Honduran authorities and brought to court for charges related to murder. During the hearing, 20 heavily armed men in police and military uniforms stormed the courthouse. They opened fire on the guards, killing 4 officers, and successfully freed YULAN in the chaos. This brazen rescue solidified his reputation as an extremely dangerous individual. The FBI has placed a $5 million bounty on YULAN, emphasizing the high stakes of his capture. However, tracking him has proven to be an enormous challenge. YULAN is believed to still be in Honduras, but he uses sophisticated methods to remain undetected, such as untraceable phone numbers from Israel and Poland. He also takes extreme precautions to conceal his location when communicating with family members. Although authorities continue their efforts to apprehend YULAN, his ability to evade capture has kept him one of the most elusive and dangerous fugitives on the FBI's Most Wanted list. The hunt for him is ongoing, but his capture remains a formidable challenge. Arnoldo Jimenez. On May 12, 2012, Arnoldo Jimenez and his wife Estrella were celebrating their wedding in a black 2006 Maserati. Just a day after exchanging vows, Arnoldo brutally stabbed his wife to death in the car, dragged her body into the bathtub of her apartment in Burbank, Illinois, and vanished. The next day, when Estrella didn't return to pick up the kids from school, her family alerted the authorities. Police later discovered her lifeless body in her wedding dress, still in the bathtub. A nationwide search for Arnoldo was immediately initiated, but by the time authorities began their search, he had already disappeared. During the investigation, it was revealed that before fleeing, Arnoldo had contacted a friend and instructed them to tell others that he had gone to Mexico. Investigators later received multiple tips suggesting that he might be hiding out with family members in Durango, Mexico. Initially, a $100,000 reward was offered for any information leading to his capture. However, 4 years after being placed on the FBI's most wanted list, the reward was increased to $250,000. Over the past 12 years, Burbank police have received hundreds of tips about Arnoldo's whereabouts, but none have led to significant progress. Authorities traced his phone to track his movements, revealing that he had traveled from Chicago to Tennessee, then Arkansas, and finally to Hidalgo, Texas, close to the Mexican border. After that, investigators lost his trail. Additionally, the car used in the murder was never recovered. If Arnoldo is caught, he will face life imprisonment for first-degree murder and unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. VITEL'HOMME innocent. One of Haiti's most dangerous and violent criminal gangs, CARIAS, is led by VITEL'HOMME innocent. For years, the gang has terrorized the nation, and Innocent's extensive criminal activities have landed him on the FBI's most wanted list. In October 2021, he and his gang collaborated with the infamous 400 Mawozo gang to orchestrate the kidnapping of 17 Christian missionaries in Haiti, including 5 children, one of whom was only 8 months old. These hostages were held at gunpoint and kept for 2 months while the gang demanded ransom payments for each victim. After an anonymous donor paid a sum to the kidnappers, the missionaries were released. Unfortunately, CARIAS and their associates used the ransom money to purchase weapons. That same year, the assassination of Haiti's president led to a surge in CARIAS' influence. Amidst the chaos, his gang expanded rapidly, claiming new territories and recruiting members faster than the authorities could respond. By 2023, CARIAS' gang had an estimated 600 members, including many young children forcibly recruited into the group. In 2023, the gang kidnapped 2 U.S. citizens, Marie Odette Franklin and Gian Franklin, on the order of innocent. Tragically, one of the victims died, while the other was held for a $300,000 ransom. Despite these heinous acts, Innocent managed to avoid arrest. The FBI has placed a $2 million reward for information leading to his capture, but given his gang's power and the dangerous connections he has, it may prove nearly impossible to bring him to justice. RUJA IGNATOVA. In 2016, RUJA IGNATOVA, a Bulgarian entrepreneur, appeared at the CoinRush Global event in Wembley, London, wearing a striking red dress. There, she shared her vision for OneCoin, the cryptocurrency company she founded. She boldly claimed that within 2 years, Bitcoin would be obsolete and that OneCoin would become the leading cryptocurrency in the world. The investors, eager and excited, were unaware that they were stepping into what would later be exposed as one of the largest financial scams in history, according to the New York Times. Known as the Crypto Queen, RUJA promised her investors returns of up to 10 times their original investment in OneCoin. Despite the red flags, the global crypto craze led many to jump into the opportunity without hesitation. Between 2014 and 2016, OneCoin raised over $4 billion from unsuspecting backers, including more than $50 million from the US alone. However, it soon became evident that OneCoin was little more than a pyramid scheme, where investors were encouraged to recruit others to purchase the coin. By 2016, investors began to complain about the difficulties in selling OneCoins and the uncertainty of ever getting their money back. As rumors of OneCoin being a scam spread online, the media and federal investigators took notice. Unfortunately, the damage had already been done. Less than 18 months after her appearance at Wembley, RUJA boarded a plane from Bulgaria to Greece and vanished without a trace. During the investigation, disturbing emails from RUJA surfaced, revealing that she knew from the start she was deceiving people. In some emails, she admitted that OneCoin wasn't mining coins and that the cryptocurrency was essentially worthless. She even referred to her investors as idiots and discussed plans with her partner, Carl Greenwood, to take the funds, disappear, and blame someone else. Greenwood was later arrested, pleading guilty to wire fraud and conspiracy to launder money, and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. As the FBI delved deeper into the investigation, it was revealed that RUJA had been on their radar long before her disappearance. She was charged with wire fraud, money laundering, and securities fraud, which led to her inclusion on the FBI's most wanted list, becoming the 11th woman to receive this distinction. Digging into her past, investigators discovered that RUJA was fluent in 4 languages, highly intelligent, and had previously worked at a prestigious consulting firm. She was also known for her obsession with fashion and maintaining a flawless public image. These traits were later seen as key tools she used to manipulate her investors and carry out the scam. After fleeing, rumors spread that RUJA had undergone plastic surgery to alter her appearance and was possibly traveling with armed guards. Some reports also suggested she might have been murdered by an accomplice, although this remains unverified. If she is still alive, the FBI believes she could be using a German passport and may be traveling through countries like the United Arab Emirates, Bulgaria, Germany, Russia, Greece, and other Eastern European nations. Alejandro Rosales Castillo. Alejandro, the youngest suspect on the FBI's most wanted list, is a 26-year-old man who has been a target of their investigation for over 8 years. In 2016, he shot his co-worker Sandy Lee in a remote area of CARIAS County, North Carolina. A few days later, her car was found at a bus station in Phoenix, Arizona. Authorities soon discovered that the case involved multiple individuals, including Sandy, a woman named Amy Feaster, and Alejandro himself, all of whom worked together at a Charlotte restaurant. The investigation revealed that Alejandro had briefly dated Sandy Lee, but after their breakup, he began a relationship with Amy Feaster. Court documents indicate that Sandy had lent money to Alejandro, and on August 9th, he texted her to meet at a gas station on Eastway Drive in Charlotte, claiming he was going to pay her back. However, instead of returning the money, he robbed her at gunpoint, took her life, and fled to Mexico. Surveillance footage later released by authorities showed Alejandro crossing the Mexican border at Nogales, Arizona, with Amia. A few months later, Amia turned herself in to Mexican authorities and was charged with being an accessory after the fact to felony murder and vehicle theft. Based on her testimony, she and Alejandro had stayed with his cousin at some point, but Alejandro later disappeared without a trace. She then decided to surrender. As of 2024, the FBI has no new leads in Alejandro's case. The only information they have is that he is likely still in Mexico. The last known sighting of him showed him with short hair and shaved sides, but that's all authorities have to go on. A reward of up to $250,000 remains for information leading to his capture, but no updates have emerged. BHADRESHKUMAR CHETANBHAI PATEL. At around 9:30 p.m. on April 12, 2015, a CCTV camera at a Dunkin' Donuts captured 2 employees, a man and a woman, heading toward the back room of the shop. A few seconds later, the man reappeared in the footage, acting as if everything was normal. However, moments later, customers were unable to find any employees in the shop, so they contacted the police. When authorities arrived, they made a chilling discovery in the back room: the lifeless body of a woman named Peek, an Indian national who had been savagely beaten to death. As the investigation unfolded, it was revealed that the man in the footage was Peek's husband, BHADRESHKUMAR. Court records indicated that the couple had been having intense arguments in the months leading up to the incident. With their visas set to expire in just a few weeks, Peek wanted to return to India, while BHADRESHKUMAR insisted on staying in the United States. Tragically, his frustration led to the horrific act of violence. Following the crime, BHADRESHKUMAR was last seen taking a taxi from a New Jersey hotel to Newark's train station. His whereabouts after that remain a mystery. To increase the search for him, the FBI added him to their most wanted list, offering a $250,000 reward for information leading to his arrest. Nearly a decade later, the case remains unresolved, with little indication that justice will be served anytime soon. Donald Eugene Fields II. Since 2022, Donald Eugene Fields II has been on the FBI's radar for his alleged involvement in child trafficking in Missouri between 2013 and 2017. Investigators accuse Fields of exploiting a 14-year-old girl, offering her to his associate in exchange for various items, including money, vehicles, vacations, and holiday gifts. Fields has been on the run for years. He is believed to be traveling across the country, working odd jobs such as tree trimming and selling used cars to avoid detection. Authorities suspect Fields may have victimized more than one person and could be accompanied by his girlfriend, Jennifer Griggs. Griggs, who is also wanted on a felony warrant for failing to pay child support, is thought to be helping him evade capture. In 2022, tips indicated that Fields might have been in the Tampa area. Law enforcement responded by circulating his photo on Facebook and featuring him on most wanted posters, asking for public assistance. However, it's likely that by the time these efforts ramped up, Fields had already returned to Missouri. The FBI has also placed billboards with his image in cities he is known to frequent, but Fields has managed to stay ahead of authorities. In early 2024, Fields' associate, Ted Sartori Sr., admitted guilt to charges related to the case. Sartori was sentenced to 10 years in prison and is expected to pay more than $25,000 in restitution to his victim. Fields is described as having multiple scars and a tribal tattoo on his right shoulder. The FBI considers him armed and dangerous and continues to urge anyone with information about his whereabouts to come forward. Despite an extensive manhunt and widespread publicity, Fields remains elusive, but authorities remain hopeful that he will eventually be apprehended. Wilver Villegas Palomino. Wilver Villegas Palomino is a high-ranking member of Colombia's National Liberation Army, ELN. While the ELN originally gained notoriety for its violent tactics, such as kidnapping, extortion, and attacking oil infrastructure, it eventually expanded into the global drug trade. This shift has made the group one of the most powerful criminal organizations in Latin America, with over 6,000 members operating not just in Colombia, but in Venezuela as well. In 2023, Palomino was added to the FBI's most wanted list, being charged with narco-terrorism, murder, and drug trafficking. For decades, Palomino has allegedly been at the forefront of coordinating the distribution of illicit drugs from Colombia to the United States. As part of his criminal activities, he is believed to have orchestrated the murders of human rights activists in Venezuela and Colombia between 2017 and 2019. Palomino is linked to the ELN's substantial involvement in producing over 200 tons of illegal drugs annually, a large portion of which is trafficked internationally, including to the U.S. In recognition of his role, the U.S. Department of State has placed a reward of up to $5 million for information that leads to his capture. However, despite intense efforts, his exact location remains unknown, making him one of the most elusive targets for law enforcement across the globe. Alexis Flores. In July 2000, 5-year-old Ariana de Jesus was playing on the streets of Philadelphia when she was abducted. Her mother quickly reported the disappearance, prompting a citywide search. Despite efforts to raise awareness by posting flyers, no clues emerged. Weeks later, her body was discovered in the basement of an abandoned building just a few blocks away from where she had been taken. Authorities found a t-shirt with a bold political logo at the crime scene, which led them to a man named Carlos, a drifter previously employed as a handyman. The case went cold for several years, leaving Ariana's family devastated. In 2007, advances in DNA technology revealed that the DNA on the shirt matched that of Alexis Flores, a man with a criminal history. He had been arrested in Arizona in 2002 for shoplifting and in 2004 for forgery, but was deported to Honduras before his DNA was linked to the crime. Flores had used multiple fake names and dates of birth throughout his criminal career, making it difficult to track him down. The FBI knows that he is about 5'4", weighs 130 pounds, and has visible scars on his forehead and right cheek. Despite being on the FBI's most wanted list with a $4 million reward for information leading to his capture, Alexis Flores remains elusive and is considered armed and dangerous.